So, Swamp Thing and Cheshire, their character files are in the game, which means that I can look at their skills. This is going to be a quick video because I'm sure they're about to release the blog in whatever amount of time, like in an hour, 2 hours, or whatever, to announce all this stuff and to tell us what the kits are. However, right now, Cheshire and Swamp Thing are in the game, and I'm too impatient to wait for their blog. So I'm gonna make this video now and read through the kits because I want to know. Let's get to the video.
There is a difference between you and me. We both looked into the abyss. But when it looked back at us, you blinked.
Hi guys, an impatient Grabber here, and this is a DC Worlds Collide video. In this video, so they did put out, they told us, they let us know when the characters were going to be released. So as of today, Swamp Thing comes out tomorrow. My plan is to farm Swamp Thing, unlock him, go through his kit, go through his affinities. He won't have the team synergy, that will be Cheshire. And then, take him into battle, all the other stuff. However, right now, since I can't wait literally like 18 hours to do this, I'm going to read through his kit right now. We're still going to have the individual videos for Cheshire and Swamp Thing. Dr. Poison isn't in the game yet. I assume that's because she's going to be released the week after Cheshire, so she just isn't in there yet. So I'm going to read briefly through Swamp Thing and Cheshire's kit because I'm impatient. So basically, and this is something that kind of disappointed me, was that Swamp Thing is only Victor Wembanyama height. Like, I don't know why I needed Swamp Thing to be 9'14", but him being 7'6" is like, okay, he could be, okay, but can he hoop? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Swamp Thing would be good in the post. I feel like he has a mean drop step, reverse pivot, you know what I'm saying? However, I also do not believe Swamp Thing is good from range. Like, he has maybe a baby hook off the backboard. Maybe he can knock down an elbow jump shot, but he's not stepping out for range, and he's not known as a shooter. He is very much a Shaq body type where he's just diesel, and he's gonna go in, punish folks. Anyway, so, and actually, XP just said that he thinks that Swamp Thing might rest in peace, Jon Stewart. Let's see, because Jon Stewart is a beast in this game right now. So we can only do this very, very superficially because, like I said, they haven't been really released. It's just the character files. So level 1, Green Thumb disappears into the murky swamp depths, only to resurface behind enemy lines. He then punches an enemy, dealing physical damage. I'm sorry. But it's basically, they did a very, very flowery way of being like, I'm going to punch you in the back of the head. Like, that's all they did. It's great. It's good. It's just like it's a very poetic way of saying, like, he disappears in the swamp depths. He comes up in the back row and it just punches him in the back of the head. Dealing physical damage equal to 100% of his attack. If the target is poisoned, he deals an additional 5% physical damage per stack of poison. This is going to go well with Poison Ivy. Additional physical damage increases by 10% per stack of poison. Additional physical damage increased by 15% per stack of poison. That is a very good basic. That's a very good basic. Yeah, that's a very good basic. Okay, sorry. Bark Armor. If any enemy has at least one stack of poison, Swamp Thing will summon roots from the ground that heal all allies for 10% of their max HP and bestow one stack of sturdy armor for 2 turns for every two stacks of poison collectively on the enemy team. All allies will receive an additional stack of sturdy armor for 2. Okay. All right. Wait a minute. Okay, I gotta read that slower. If any enemy has at least one stack of poison, so any of them over there has one, Swamp Thing will summon roots from the ground that heal all allies for 10% of their maximum HP and bestow one stack of sturdy armor for 2 turns. So this is a passive. It says if any. I assume this happens at the start of rounds. I believe. Um, the, doesn't Cheshire have a poison that can't be purged and just stays forever? Tangent 41, counting that one. Okay, that's it. I give it to you. I give it to you. I put coin in the tangent jar. My bad. Um. Okay. Cheshire has a poison that can't be purged, right? This just says if enemy has, but it doesn't say when this triggers. Like it doesn't say at the beginning of a round, at the beginning of the enemy turn, at the beginning of an ally turn. It doesn't say that. This looks like a passive. It doesn't say passive, of course, because I'm doing this ahead of time. Duration of straight army increases 3 turns. Swamp Thing now heals for 25% of his allies' maximum HP. This has to be at the beginning of a round. It's not written, but I assume that's what it is. Okay, next passive. Swamp Thing is coated in a toxic sap from the Manchineel tree. We're going to go with Manchineel tree. Manchineel, sure. Whenever an enemy attacks him, they receive 1 stack of poison for 2 turns. Okay, we saw that one coming. Each enemy can only be poisoned once per turn. The duration of the poison increases to 3 turns. Swamp Thing now inflicts 2 stacks of poison. It's 2 stacks of poisons for 3 turns at the very end at level 3. But this can happen once per turn. This basically feels like you're going to just be kind of dripped in poison forever. Swamp Toxins. Nature is constantly adapting and evolving. Whenever Swamp Thing is inflicted with an elemental debuff, frostbite, poison, or burn, his damage reduction against frostbite, poison, and the detonation increases by 5% for the rest of battle. So whenever he's inflicted with it, not necessarily where he receives damage, right? Just when it's been put on him. Damage reduction can be increased to a maximum of 60%. Okay, so maybe XP was right. Maybe XP were right. I hadn't even got to the ultimate yet. Launches quill-like branches out of his back, okay, like missiles that rain down upon the entire enemy team. If an enemy has 5 or more, they're gonna have 5 or more. 5 stacks of poison. 5 or more, 5 stacks of poison. We're gonna. If an enemy has 5 or more, 5 stacks of poison. Is stacks of poison a new debuff? Because there's poison and then they have this capital S here. I don't think it is what it's okay. I might be reading too much into it, but this feels like an awkward sentence if stacks of poison isn't something that's also new. 5 stacks of poison. Swamp Thing deals physical damage equal to 300% of his defense. What does his defense look like? If not, he inflicts them with 3 stacks of poison for 3 turns. So if they have stacks of poison, no. If they do, then he gets 3 stacks of poison for 3 turns. Okay, so I'm trying to go back to see where else, but they say something else stacks poison. Yeah, 1 stack of poison. Okay, so there's just a capital S that shouldn't be a capital S. All right, got it. If the enemy team collectively has 10 or more stacks of poison, Swamp Thing also heals all allies for 35% of maximum HP. So this is when the ultimate triggers. That makes more sense. Swamp Thing now adds 4 stacks of poison to the enemies with less than 5 stacks of poison already on them. So if you have 4 and it's which is less than 5, you can end up with 8. That's funny. I think poison stop stacking at 10. Might be 15, but I think it's 10. Okay, so that Swamp Thing, he looks monstrous. Is he gonna be better than Aquaman? I think his badge might give defense percentage based on poison stacks or something. Well, we'll have to see. I think it's just a typo. It's 15 stacks of poison. Okay. I wasn't sure if poison was treated like frostbite or if it was treated like bleeds. I thought it was treated like bleeds because frostbite is more in line with how burns are treated. So anyway, thank you. Cheshire, 5'9". This is, well, I was going to say that's actually not true. That's not true. All right, anyway. And I'm going to try to keep away from tangent number 42. I see you. Anyway, so basic Slashes an enemy with her blade, dealing physical damage equal to 150% of her attack. If the target is not already poisoned, she will also afflicts them with 5 stacks of poisons for 2 turns. Is this her basic? See, Cheshire in DC Legends was a sign of things to come, meaning like when she came, the game lasted for another year. She went nuts. Honestly, it was Trigon who did it. But on her basic, if you don't have poison, she's giving you 5. Now, these aren't the unique poisons that can't be purged, but still, though. Physical damage dealt increases to 100, and then the damage is already at 170%. What are we doing? If the target is already poisoned, Cheshire now inflicts them with 2 additional stacks of poison for 2 turns. Okay. Cheshire also inflicts the target with 3 stacks of bleed for 2 turns. Well, now you're just being excessive. I'm also noticing that they would probably run very, very well with the debuff team. All right, so next, Shadow Shroud. There's a smoke bomb that disappears into the resulting cloud, rendering her invulnerable for 1 turn. Cheshire then immediately uses the cover as an opportunity to perform Poison Blade. After the smoke dissipates, Cheshire receives 1 stack of dodge. So she then uses so her advanced attack is you can't hurt me. Here's 5 stacks of poison, and I'm a dodge. While Shadow Shroud is active, any attacking enemy that would inflict damage on Cheshire now receives 1 stack of poison for 2 turns. So she's now a better version of Penguin. Cheshire now receives 2 stacks of dodge after the smoke dissipates. Someone brought up the concept of power creep, and I was like, you can't help that in the game. But the kits on these characters, I'm not complaining per se, are so like they're increasing it, like exponentially getting better. It's taking leaps, massive leaps. Cheshire weapons, and I guess this might be them trying to shift the entire meta of the game to one kind of standardized stat thing and leave what was done in the past behind. Cheshire's weapons are all coated with poison of her own invention. Whenever she deals damage, she also inflicts her target with 1 stack of Cheshire poison for 2 turns. I saw somebody bring this up, and I meant to talk about it. This is like Dr. Phosphorus's. He has his own unique burn. Yeah. So she has her own unique poison for 2 turns. Enemies with less than 33% of their max HP remaining also take 25% more damage. That is funny. You're hurting, so let me hurt you more. When attacking DPS enemies, Cheshire will apply 3 additional stacks of Cheshire poison. So 3 additional 4. So if she's attacking Wonder Woman, she's going to give Wonder Woman 4 stacks of poison instead of 3, or instead of 1. Enemies with less than 33% of their max HP remaining now take 100% more damage. That is a big jump, my guy. Any Cheshire poison inflicted on DPS enemies now lasts 4 turns. Now enemies with less than 40% of their maximum HP remaining take additional damage. That is nuts. Okay, let's go to her. Oh my god. Okay. Mad as Hatters. Slices the enemy in the back row with the most stacks of poison twice with her size. I don't know why I was going to say seance. Dealing physical damage equal to 175% of her attack with each strike. So she's striking them twice. Okay, so it's going to be 350%. Cheshire strikes, also dealing an additional 5% physical damage for a stack of poison on the target. That is straight up from Swamp Thing. If no enemies in the back row poison, Cheshire attacks a random enemy in the back row instead. Okay. Physical damage increases to 225%. And then additional damage dealt by the stacks of poison increases to 7%. Each strike now does 10% more physical damage per stack of bleed on the target. So Cheshire looks like she's insane. You better be better than Lex. That's not a high bar to jump over. Check. We're breaking in. Breaking news, which is not breaking news, actually. It's just something that I missed. So, thanks to Theonidas and Spike for helping me get there. But basically, So we're gonna look at these team synergy from Cheshire. Uh, that stuff is standard. All stacks of poison on DPS enemies in the back row last until the end of battle. They really are attacking that back row. They do not like them folks in the back row, and I don't either. It's usually those dudes. It's either the fish guys who keep throwing the fish and that never stop throwing the fish, or it was like the bomb dudes who keep throwing the bombs and never stop throwing the bombs. Like, I'm happy to destroy those, 100%. But you inflict poisons on that back row, and it never lasts to the end of battle. So those are just permanent poisons. Now with her. Whenever poison is inflicted on DPS enemies in the back row, one stack of Cheshire poison that lasts for 4 turns is also added. So this is, and then we need one target back row characters. Yeah, okay. So you need one of those, which would be, for me right now, it would be Poison Ivy. Grout would be next. I don't mess with Damien, or as you can tell by the level ones, I don't mess with Damien or Penguin. And then next would be Poison, which would have to be Poison Ivy. Here's a question. Oh, or Swamp Thing. Okay, cool. Here's a question. If I put Poison Ivy in here, she covers both of these things. Does just Poison Ivy hit this team synergy for me, or do I need one and then the other? In any case, let's return back to our regularly scheduled programming that wasn't scheduled and just kind of happened haphazardly and can clearly be told by how I'm just like stuttering over all of my words and pausing a lot. But let's get back to that. So Jade and Alan, or is it Alec? His name is Alec, right? Where you at? Yeah, Alec. Alec and Jade look like they are going to be beasts when they hit this game. Poison Ivy, I was like looking at already and like working on her gear. She's already nuts. I cannot wait to see what Dr. Poison has, because it looks like she might be a good AoE healer. I know I shouldn't have done this video because I should wait for the characters to come out so I can like go through. I'm gonna do it again anyway, but I'm just too patient. I want it. I couldn't wait. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, please subscribe if you don't like it. Subscribe and a dislike. I'm okay with that as well. I'll see you guys next time.